Welcome to FiST Chat, your source for news and discussions in film science and technology, hosted by Steve Kern and Ben Warner. Visit our website at fistchat.com. Hi there everyone, and welcome to a new episode of FiST Chat, where we talk about all things film science and technology. My name's Ben Warner, and I'm joined once again by my good friend and colleague Steve Kern. How are we today, Steve, for our second episode today?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Ben. Hi, FiST Chat fans. All good today, and we're going to talk about some very interesting future careers.
Yes, so anyone that's looking for a job, you might find some of this interesting. Now, obviously, we talk a lot about science and technology on this podcast, and there was a article that we came across on smartplanet.com. In 2030, some of the most popular jobs could be vertical farmer, limb maker, waste data handler, or narrowcaster, according to a new UK report. So if you've got your sights set on becoming a lawyer or a doctor, you can probably forget about it, because in the future we've got a whole range of interesting science and technology jobs that may just catch your fancy if you find it interesting. And a lot of it's got to do with advances in medicine, science, technology, and the shifting nature of the types of jobs that we as humans will be doing in society as we sort of adapt to all of those things coming on board. So before we get into it though, what do you think, Steve? Is it all good news, bad news, or is it more just as sort of a transition from, into more specialist types of careers that people will probably have to train and educate themselves for?
I think that that's a really good way to sum it up, Ben, because it is actually a transition. So the fact that we can even predict what these jobs might be, even though no one's doing them today, is actually it shows it's an extension of the technology that we have today, and it will be used to fulfill needs that we have as a society. So yeah, it is a transition, but by the same token, it's also a bit of a revolution. I mean, even today there are lots of jobs that people never imagined, would exist in 20 years ago. So it's pretty exciting times.
Yeah, exactly. Let's have a look at some of these. They're quite interesting, actually. The first one here: body part maker, create living body parts for athletes and soldiers.
Yeah.
I think we might have discussed like limb replacement before, maybe
regenerative medicine
and organ replacement. So that's not really too far fetched if they can sort of figure out a way to make sure the body can take it.
Well, this is the thing. I think when we say, you be a body parts maker, people go, oh my God, that sounds so freaky, so, Frankenstein or whatever. But the fact is that we already are on the verge of being able to create tissues and organs and working out how to, use 3D printers even for medical purposes, bioprinters and that sort of thing. So we're moving towards that. And I think, just getting back to that transition thing, is these jobs won't pop up overnight. Yeah. These jobs will evolve. So you could be working in stem cell, research today, but in 20 years' time, you will be actually using stem cells to make body parts.
Yeah.
So I think that's the way you need to look at these things. It's a bit like 20 years ago, you would have been a software programmer, and now you're an app developer.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing, but also very, very different.
Exactly. Still sticking with medicine, nanotechnology advances mean subatomic treatments could transform healthcare, which I think that's another thing we've discussed before. Using miniature sort of robotics to enhance healthcare. That'd be fairly transformational in terms of the new amount of medical treatments that could be done.
Well, medicine's a great example. It's kind of like are we there yet? Are we there yet? Because, people always talk about these great advances that are just over the horizon, and we never seem to get there with medicine. But as we've spoken about on FiST Chat a lot, go back 50 or 60 years, look at life expectancy, look at what medicine's done, and medicine has been advancing incredibly the whole time. And, once again, when you look back, you see the giant leaps. When you look forwards, all you see is snail's pace evolution. But we're making huge leaps.
Yeah, exactly. And continuing on, this maybe it's a bit health related. It's a bit controversial too. The GM or recombinant farmer, GM as in genetically modified or engineered crops and livestock. I would have thought that with the population sizes that we're going towards, that's sort of going to be inevitable.
Well, it's not very popular, and I understand why some people might not be comfortable with GM from a business or philosophical perspective. But the reality is the foods that we eat today are genetically modified just purely by plant breeding. So the scientific genetic modification that everyone seems to be afraid of is by and large very safe, and it's a great way to equalise, and share the benefits across all societies and make sure people are well nourished, don't go to bed hungry, and crops can grow in tough environments. So there's a lot to be said for it, despite the fact that some people have, feelings about it.
Yeah, exactly. Let's have a look at another one. Memory augmentation surgeon. Like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, surgeons could boost patients' memory when it hits capacity.
Johnny Mnemonic?
Yeah, but I would have thought with the human brain, would it hit capacity? I mean, unless, because it seems like the data storage in the brain is obviously there's a limit somewhere, but it seems to be extremely large.
I think that probably refers more to downloading our thoughts and experiences. And the scary thing is I think we're actually quite close to that.
Yeah.
Computers just have to get powerful enough, and they will be in 10 years' time, no question, that you could probably transfer data from the brain to your laptop. I don't know if that's a good thing, but it'll be interesting to see
a cloud backup of your brain.
Well, it'll be very interesting to see what these experiences are. How will you actually be able to visualize like we visualize now? And will that come out as an actual image on your tablet? I wonder. It's amazing. But there's every chance that will happen.
Exactly. I'll tell you, this one you might like. Space pilots, tour guides, and architects. Space tourism will allow for space pilots, tour guides, and architects that will allow them to live in lunar outposts. That's not far-fetched at all. And that would require probably an extensive amount of expertise that would go along the way as well to survive in those environments.
This is a really interesting one, I think, because we've been able to do this since the 1970s. Just there hasn't been an economic imperative, or people haven't really wanted to do it. Because if we really wanted to do it today, we could be doing this already. So it's very interesting that this, the technology isn't far-fetched, but the idea that we really want to live and work in space seems far-fetched. So I find that very interesting. But unquestionably, people will be living and working in space within another decade. The Americans and Europeans and Chinese and Indians have all committed to space exploration. That means there'll be people living and working in space. Very exciting.
Absolutely. Now, we've mentioned vertical farmers before. The future of farming is straight up. Vertical farms in urban areas could significantly increase food supply. Again, a variation, I guess, of solving the issues to do with, getting food to everyone in ample supply.
Exactly. Vertical farming is an interesting one. I actually don't believe it'll be that useful. I think it's something that people do in urban environments because they can, just the same way that we have gardens if you've got a backyard now. I think, they'll build apartment blocks to have vertical farms and that sort of thing. But the reality is that, with our distribution, the technologies and the way that we've created farming as it is, then the more urbanised centres become, then really you don't really need to grow any food in there.
Yeah.
It's only when you run out of, unurbanised or rural areas, that's when you need your vertical farming. But even now, we ship stuff all over the world. Food comes from all over the world. So something big would have to change to make it economically viable.
Yeah. Yep. Moving right along, climate change reversal specialist. Regardless of what you think about human-induced climate change, it's clear we'll need scientists who specialize in altering it. Yeah, that makes sense. Especially
it does. I don't think it's a very good idea.
I mean, if it turns out that, we alter the climate enough to cause significant change, I'm sure there will be teams of people working on trying to fix it.
Well, we've spoken about climate hacking and various things that people have done, dumping stuff in the oceans and all manner of, I guess, climate or enviro hacking solutions for whatever people want. Yeah, you can do it. I just think that it's two wrongs don't make a right. And the thing is that you can try probably for a lot of climate change solutions, and hopefully it won't be so desperate that we have to try them.
Yeah.
But you're better off trying to fix the cause and just being patient rather than trying for quick fixes. Quick fixes never work.
Yeah, exactly. I guess an extension of this, we've got the weather modification police. If weather patterns can be altered and adversely affect other parts of the world, law enforcement will be needed to keep things legal. So can you imagine the mob they want to do a hit? And they instead of using guns, they just send a cyclone into the area.
Yeah, look, the idea that we control weather is a famous and very favourite conspiracy theory. I think it's a little bit beyond us. I mean, but you'd have to, just like you have international nuclear inspectors, you'd have to have weather inspectors.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they'd do. Would they check the weather where you are? I mean, as it is, the Bureau, and I'm a big fan of the Bureau of Meteorology, but they don't really get it that right.
Yeah.
we were told we were going to get 60 mil of rain this week.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I was expecting the sunlight shining through the windows here.
As soon as we finish recording these sessions, there'll probably be a huge downpour. But at the moment, I can't see it happening.
Exactly. All right, let's change tack now. Virtual lawyer. As international law grows to supersede national law, lawyers will be needed to handle cases that involve people living in several nations with different laws. So the lawyer that's set up at home can Skype in, can they?
Well, this is my favourite, because why wouldn't you just have a robotic lawyer?
Yep.
Laws are laws. Robots, perfect.
I'm sure the lawyers will be happy with that.
We'll automate the whole legal industry.
And then it'll go down in flames when it's not when they don't have the interpretation and nuance, unless they program the robots with those things.
There shouldn't be. Law is black and white, surely.
No, well, absolutely. But that's the thing. We'll have to wait and see how that goes.
Yeah.
And moving on, narrowcasters, which I think was mentioned in the title, as in the opposite of broadcaster. Media will grow increasingly personalized and will need people to handle all those streams. Just like us with what we're doing right now. I guess we're narrowcasting, aren't we?
We are indeed. And I think that this is a very interesting point. I don't think this is so much a job, because it's really an extension of the media industry that already exists. And this will be automated. I mean, Facebook will automate the feeds that you want to personalize them for you. We already see that now in the way that Google calculates your searches and only shows you the stuff you're interested in. And, Facebook, the same with its edge ranking, shows you the stuff that you're going to be interested in. So, yes, it will obviously be a role, but I'm not sure it'll actually be a job any more than somebody who works in a media outlet today.
Unless it makes a lot of money for you.
Oh, I'm sure it'll make a lot of money.
All right, and we'll do two more. We haven't been able to get through the whole list, but time broker or time bank trader. What's more valuable than precious metals, stones, or cold hard cash? Your time. So this
is a good one.
Is that getting out of control? That people can't manage their time?
Well, today everything's, precious, purity, precious, good health, precious, quality time, precious. So why wouldn't somebody, I mean, you can get all the apps that show you what you do all day.
Yep.
In case you're wasting time. So why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you, I guess...
enlist the services of a time trader or a time organizer. Exactly.
That'll be a very interesting gig. Although, once again, I imagine that can be automated as well. So I'm not sure there'll actually be people doing these jobs. Maybe selling maybe selling the software, but I don't know.
And I might collapse these last two together because they may be a bit similar. Social networking worker, a social worker for the web generation, and branding managers. These already exist for celebrities, but now everyone needs a personal brand so others can easily digest who you are and what you stand for. And I figured that would be most represented in social media with all your posts and everything. That almost seems a little ridiculous as well, that you need to employ someone to handle your sort of a social presence in the world, given that the whole purpose of social networking is for you to be connected with those people. But then again, I'm sure right now celebrities aren't doing their own tweeting, so maybe there is a role for that.
I think you're absolutely right, and I think that these will be big jobs. I mean, already, the way you present yourself on LinkedIn will apparently enhance or determine your chances of getting new employment. And it may not be quite such a personalised service, but I have no doubt at all that, if you join up with one of these people, they'll delete the tweets you sent that you shouldn't have, and they'll raise anything, and they'll give you good advice on who you should follow, and probably be able to hook you up with the right people to follow. So if you're really progressive and you want to have a career that, social media is an extension of, these people are going to be very important.
Exactly. All right, we might wrap it up there. We weren't able to get through all 20, but you can check them out at smartplanet.com and have a good, amusing sort of smile and chuckle over some of them, and maybe some are more serious, so as we discussed. So we'll wrap it up there. So thanks again, Steve, for the chat.
Anytime. See you again soon, FiST Chat fans.
Absolutely. Don't forget our website, FISTCHAT.com. You can get all of our links there. We've got our ebook, The FiST Report, at FiSTReport.com. The 2012 and 13 editions are available there and helps to support the show. We've got our weekly blogs and photography on Instagram and Flickr. And if you think anyone's interested in our weekly discussions on film science and technology, then feel free to send them to our website. We greatly appreciate that. So that's it for this episode. So we'll catch you next time.